Hello everybody, welcome back for some more Ninja Gaiden 2 Black. So, let's see, we're in chapter 16. Leaving off from there, we haven't run to any of the sides. Sorry, I just got I got a little winded walking back down here because I'm a big fat fuck, but yeah, that's my fault. I know it. Alright, so this direction, I believe, is main progress. Yes. So, we need to go back and get the other side done foist, which does actually have, it should have ghost fish. That's, I'm pretty sure. I mean, it's got these guys. I could have sworn it's ghost fish, but unless one of the chests spawns ghost fish, that might be what I'm thinking of. Regardless, we'll go with the flail for now, so we can just at least eliminate most of this problem. Those that are curious about where I'm at in terms of when I'm recording this, I just got done streaming Splatterhouse today, basically within one stream, except OBS decided to crash said game close to the end of the game in general, and that sucked. So I still count it as basically just a one stream thing. And then the Dragon Ball and Grand Blue videos that are coming, the rest of the Dragon Ball videos that are coming out, are all pre-recorded before I even, I think, started streaming. Along with the Grand Blues. Grand Blue up till like Meg. So when Meg is finally fully uploaded, you will know that that is where I technically left off. And I'm thinking today, it's only about like, 5:30 right now. So I'm thinking today what I could do is go ahead and finish Ninja Gaiden 2, which that's one plan I'm doing for this video. Probably even regardless of how long it takes, because I don't think I have much chapters left to go through. So we can most likely finish it within a reasonable amount of time. And then after that, because I used the LAN cable to download the game to make it faster to download, I will probably just say screw it, because I can't really use my PS3 right now. I haven't figured out how to get that to work again in terms of recording on it. So we'll be using that, the LAN cable, to just stream the game. So not as in like I'm going to stream it, I mean as in PlayStation Plus streaming. I'm not really interested in doing that, but honestly at this point in time, I think it's probably for the best we go that route, as unfortunate as it is. And then maybe even possibly later tonight, which I know this sounds ridiculous, but I'm on a roll here, man. I'm having a lot of fun doing what I'm doing right now currently, so I'm kind of, you know what, yeah, fuck it, I'm having a lot of fun doing what I'm doing, fuck that. I keep worrying about everything. I'm like, man, I should stop doing the stream thing because it's taking too long. It's not really taking too long. I love doing it. It's just that I'm kind of really worried about the future endeavor of things. Like, will I be able to do this in time? Will I be able to do this in time? It's like, dude, it's fucking November. December's coming up pretty soon. You got some time off just eventually. All that. So just do what you can. Do with what you can. And then I gotta remember, oh yeah, that's right, fucking Hyrule Warriors 3 comes out. Now, I'll say this, though, if I do get Hyrule Warriors 3, and I'm like, you know what, I want to stream it, because for some reason, I don't know why, I just like doing that, I might just say fuck it and turn stream chat on for just those. But I think for the hardcore and stuff, I'm gonna leave stream chat off. And for those that are curious as to why, it's basically because over the years, I've had so many times where people they just say weird shit. Like, don't get me wrong, I have my fair share of weird humor, but I feel like sometimes people take it too far and don't understand, like, social cues. So I'm trying to avoid the potential chance that somebody might say something stupid in stream, during stream, I might add. I'm fine with people commenting on the streams after they're done, but I think it being kind of like a VOD type situation just works out better for me. But that's mostly, preferably, I'm going to keep that stream chat off for the hardcore and stuff. And I understand that, like, I'm just making it seem even a lot more sus. Where it's like, well, you're turning stream chat off, that can only mean one thing. You've got something to hide. And I don't know any other way to really prove it. I just don't want to have stream chat. I get uncomfortable with it. And I feel like for hardcore, I think it would just get worse. Because, like, this is something I want to do. And I don't want people to... I don't want that slight chance of somebody to ruin it. I know it's the coward's way out, but because of what I'm streaming, because it's the hardcore and stuff, I really don't want those types of comments. Bots and all kinds of things, just to kind of distract me from it. But if I were to get... Well, I mean, I'm already getting Hyrule Warriors anyway. But if I was to do a stream Hyrule Warriors, God forbid, it could happen. It could happen. It could happen. Comes out like Thursday anyway, so I got time for that. If that were the case, then I'll probably just say, alright, just because it's a special occasion and I'm not doing hardcoring right now, we probably could just stream with chat. So now what if somebody ruins that? Well, then I'll just stop the stream. But I feel like for hardcoring stuff, it's like it just makes my life 10 times easier if I just don't bother with it. Besides, the other thing, too, is like I don't want people to kind of, I guess you could say, detract from things too much. Because I do kind of want to get through. It's a marathon type thing, and I kind of want to get through it a bit. So, call me a wuss, call me a bitch. I don't know anymore. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Things are the way they are. That's just how it is. So, I'm just being me right now. I'm being a little baby about everything, because that's usually what I am. Alright, let's do this. Scythe time. The only preferred option for this at this point. I forget what it was I was watching. Oh yeah, I was watching some Ninja Gaiden 2 stuff. I know this is kind of old now, but if you get the Master Ninja Collection, there's actually a mod for Ninja Gaiden 2. A couple mods. Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, which you're probably wondering, well, that's what you're playing right now. How's that a mod? Well, there's somebody that modded it, I'm pretty sure before Black ever came out for 2, because it makes sense to call it Black. And the mod in question, I think, just kind of sort of, I forget exactly what it fixed, but it just made it to where it was a nice, you know, another nice version of Ninja Gaiden 2 to play. But then there was Ninja Gaiden 2 White, and I forget what that one changed. But I want to say that's the one that I was interested in the most. I was like, yo, I feel like the changes on that one seemed a lot more interesting, but I don't remember directly offhand what the changes fully were. But at the time of watching, I was like, oh, this sounds cool as fuck. Oh, I know it added the enemies from Ninja Gaiden 2 Vanilla. It brought them back, which the game had to basically kind of render the new enemies in, but I think that's pretty sick that you can just basically do the Dynasty Warriors ass fight on the stairs again, which this game I don't think really did properly. I mean, it looked like there was a lot of enemies, yeah, but I don't think that was the same amount that it was on Ninja Gaiden 2, though. But it's been a while since I've, seen or gotten there, but I'm just going to assume that 2 Black, the one we have, the official 2 Black, I don't think probably even has it. I'm just going to assume, just for the sake of assuming, because I feel like that's the safe option at this point. About fell in the water there. Now make sure you shoot all these things, because these little varmints will attack you on the water, and that's not good. And I don't think there's anything in the water, though, besides maybe a crystal skull. So I'm just going to go on ahead, go take down Genshin and Elizabeth once again. Yes, Genshin's back, of course. And now I got to figure out another name for another Hoyoverse game. So we're gonna Azuna drop his ass one final time. Why do I do that? Looter is right there on the... Just hit left. Alright, Genshin, you bitch. This is Fire Genshin. Well, the game calls him Fiend Genshin, but... basically, he is Fire Genshin, as in he will just fucking throw fire at your ass. I don't know if you can. That's going to drop them. I fucking hope so. Not, I'll have to find something else that's going to drop. I don't think we can. I think the joke is over now. Yeah, I don't think you can do that anymore. That sucks. Because if that's not working, that's a bad sign. Yeah, because he's a fiend now, so we can't really exactly... If I could Azuna drop him, I would. But I don't think we can. I can try one more time, but... Whatever. That sucks a lot of dick. Well... Oh yeah, they force you to switch to the dual sword. The new one. Pretty sure I think it's a new sword, right? No. Fuck that. I'd rather not. Not a fan of it. Don't care if it's quote unquote good or not. I don't really care. I just don't really care for it. So Elizabeth is really weird because, as you can tell, like, just on even normal difficulty, she's a lot harder than pretty much anything else we've ever had to face in the entire game. She's got a lot of guard breaks. I've mentioned this before. But the idea for her, typically, is just avoid her combos and only strike when the oven is hot, essentially. Yes, I'm not saying, like, when Elizabeth is hot. I'm talking about, like, essentially only when she allows you to attack. So when she's got those sort of big gaps in her shit, then you can hit her. It's very particular with it. It's kind of like the Alma fights from 1, where you can only realistically attack her whenever the game decides to say that you can. And it's just how that works. I mean, that's just a Ninja Gaiden boss bullshit anyway. You're only allowed to do stuff when the game tells you to. I remember another thing I heard about, I think in that video too, that I wanted to talk about was the fact that, like, a lot of the weapons, like Ninja Gaiden 2 Vanilla, is specifically made with a ton of enemies because of the fact of the weapons being so crazy and destructive. And it doesn't really, like, the weapons, like, the bosses kind of fall flat because of that. Because the game is built in mind to annihilate groups of guys. It's made to make you feel like you're a true ninja. And I can definitely see that. I don't know if that's true. That was the original plan, was like, yeah, we want to give more enemies because why the fuck not? Make these weapons just work really well against them. I mean, I've said it before, but, Ninja Gaiden is typically made in the sense where Ryu is already just powerful. It doesn't matter what you have. He's already incredibly strong. It's just up to the player to basically make it to where you can survive the onslaught of enemies, because this game is, when it wants to be, unforgiving. Then there was another thing I heard about too, where it's like, not for the mod stuff, but just for the game in general as well. Somebody made a video, I think it was like Master Ninja Mode is the perfect way to play the game, or something like that. I forget what the title was. But something along the lines of, like, Master Ninja Mode basically being for, it's the way the game should be played. And I totally agree with that. And it made me think too, it's like, wait a minute. I definitely see where you're coming from, and I don't disagree with that, actually, because from what it sounds like, basically, and from what I can gather and what I feel, Ninja Gaiden has always been about trying to better yourself and get better at the game. And then when you challenge yourself on the hardest setting, you are realistically playing the game how it's meant to be. Enemies are at their toughest. Enemies are at their most aggressive. Like, everything is like max settings. It's all turned on. I mean, you could probably say the same thing for other games like God of War, but I would argue that God of War is meant to be played primarily how you want to play it. If you want to play on hard, you can. If you don't have to. Because I feel like God of War, and when I say God of War, I mean like the original classic games, not God of War 24, or whatever the fuck. Not God of War 4. But I do feel that with a game like God of War, it was mostly just a game for telling a story. And there's nothing wrong with that. And people who play it on easy, like, there's nothing wrong with that either, I feel. I mean, people can play on any difficulty, regardless. But I do feel that it's if we allow people to play God of War and hack and slash games on easy, and we don't have to give them shit for it, which is, I think, something they should be allowed to do. If the game has the ability to do it, I think, if people want to take that route, they can. However, they can't just go around saying things like, yeah, I beat it on, like, the hardest setting or something stupid like that. Like, I feel like it's not a bad thing to let people play on easy. Even for a game like Ninja Gaiden, I mean, even though it would be pathetically easy to play on. Which is why, if my dad ever, God forbid, plays this game, I would tell him, hey, play on normal. Just trust me on this one. When you learn the game, when you actually want to learn the game, which he won't, so maybe easy mode might be the better choice for him. Actually, now that I think about it. Either way, like, normal mode is just, it is for what it's worth, I feel like, the easy mode, but that's just me. I do think that, like, it's okay to have easy difficulty setting. It's not okay to tell Miyazaki to make Dark Souls have an easy mode. I think that's pathetic. I think taking away the game's internal... Or what? The game's already just set in the way of, like, being what it is. Taking away that artistic integrity just ruins the whole pot. So, if Dark Souls is too hard for you to play, which, to be fair, it can be hard for people. I've struggled before, too. I still struggle to play Dark Souls 1, even though a lot of people really know that game in and out, but I don't. But Bloodborne, I could handle. Things like Bloodborne or whatever, or even Sekiro, I could potentially handle those relatively just fine. We all have our differences. And, all I'm saying is, like, if there's already an easy mode, I think that's fine. But don't be that type of person that's like, yep, it needs to have an easy mode, because that's just pathetic on you. That's pathetic on your end. And besides, I mean, to be fair, Dark Souls does technically already kind of have an easy mode. It's called Magic. It's not perfectly easy. It doesn't exactly make the game, more viable in that way, I guess, for people who want nothing of a challenge, but still, it's at least technically there. Just gotta look for it. And Dark Souls, it is tedious, it is hard, but it's one of those things where I do actually like what it wants you to do. I like the idea that these are games that want to challenge the player and make them think a little bit outside the box or something, or just figure out a way to get past it, because, like, everything's just kind of a puzzle. And I've always kind of appreciated that. I think there's some Souls games out there that are a little less of a puzzle than others. Like, I feel like Dark Souls 2, this is, of course, my opinion, but I feel like Dark Souls 2 doesn't really do a good job at that. I think it just leans too hard into the idea that it was supposed to be hard, or that the game is hard. But I don't know. I can't really say. I don't play as many Souls as I probably should. Hell, I used to struggle playing Elden Ring until eventually me and my brother did a playthrough of it together, where we did like a whole strength build, got this crazy weapon, and everything was just open to me at that point. I was like, oh, it actually wasn't that hard as I thought it was. Because, like, I kept fighting bosses that just, I guess you could say, weren't good for me to fight, which is funny because, like, I went back and, like, my recent playthrough, and those same bosses I tend to struggle with, I did okay at, I kind of just learned it. And it's funny, too, because, like, even though Magic is usually considered, like, the easy mode of the game, Strength is also a pretty easy thing, too. I mean, you'll have to actually face the boss, unlike with Magic, where you can kind of just sort of shoot them from a distance with certain things. Depending on the boss in question, of course. Nothing really inherently wrong with using Magic, but I just feel like people who use Magic for their first run, I feel like you're kind of taking away a lot of what the game has to offer at that point. But you can do you, but I don't feel like you've truly beaten Dark Souls unless if you play Magic only, but that's just my shitty opinion. But I don't know. I think my brother played Magic on Elden Ring first, but then again, I feel like it's weird too because I feel like with Elden Ring it's different. I feel like we've finally gotten around to the point where I feel like it's a safe thing to do. But like earlier Dark Souls, you know, I don't know. I'm a little gatekeepy. What can I say? But then again, you know, this is coming from somebody who plays nothing but strength builds all the time. And the thing with Elden Ring, though, is like every build you start with does have some sort of specific stat help. Like, I played Samurai first, and it had bleed, so that helped me out tremendously. Probably more than Magic in some cases, I'm sure. So I can't really talk, at least with Elden Ring. But I do feel like Elden Ring is just different enough from Dark Souls to allow people to actually fully express what they want. And Bloodborne is basically my cup of tea. It's straight up just a hack and slash. There's really no options for magic. There's no options for anything else. You have to learn the game. You have to parry. You have to do this. Okay, you don't have to, but it would make your life a lot easier. I don't know. That's the problem with Dark Souls topics for me is no matter what I say, it comes off extremely douchey, but that's the problem too. Is like I'm also just slightly gatekeepy with it as well because I like those games, and then people have to come in and ruin them and ask for things like easy mode and shit, and just I don't know, just ruin the fun for themselves. But then again, people can do whatever they want. So who am I to say that they shouldn't? Technically speaking. But now, what about like something like, okay, you know, any game in general. Like I feel like you've played any game on easy, you can't really say that you've really played the game. Like if somebody were to say, I beat Ninja Gaiden 2 on easy, I would say, yeah, but I mean, you didn't really play it. Because I feel like most of your experience, it's the same thing with Dark Souls, is it's within playing it on, you know, the normal difficulty, I guess. But that's the thing too, is like, what about people that are less capable of playing games, that don't really want to play games all that much? Because like my dad plays God of War on easy. Is that fair? You know, maybe I should change the way I put it. If you are someone who does play games, like if you naturally play games, if that's something that you're just used to, like I'm talking like you play hack and slash games, you owe it to yourself to play on normal. If you play on easy, then you're probably doing it to get trophies or whatever. If you don't play games at all, I feel like at that point, all right. But if you're playing games mostly, and you're used to this type of stuff, I don't know why you would. Whatever. No matter what I say, it's gonna count. It's gonna sound gatekeepy, but that's the problem too with me is I can't just form my own fucking opinion now, can I? And just be confident with it. Yeah, you know what? Fuck it. I'll say that. Like if you, I'm gonna be very specific with it. If you played Ninja Gaiden 2 on easy and you've beaten Ninja Gaiden 1, you've beat God of War, whatever. You're used to hack and slashes. You play games. You owe it to yourself a great debt to play this game at least on normal. I think normal mode is pretty fucking easy. But even then, still, I feel like you at least should do it on normal. At that point. You've proven that you can play games. So why not keep up it, I guess. But if it's a game you really don't give a fuck about and you're like, you know what, this looks like shit, I just want to play it just to get over with, I guess. I don't know. And hell, just think back then, I mean, most games don't even have like a hard, or sometimes games just already are just on normal. Like Jak 2, for example. That game is essentially set on normal. You have to unlock hero mode. It's a thing you unlock. So, the arcade games too, like that's the thing. It's like a lot of arcade games, you know, they don't get hard until you've at least beaten them one time, and then you unlock the harder setting like Ghosts and Goblins. Yeah, I'm just gonna be a gatekeeper. That's it. Ah, fuck! I fucked up. Oh, you saw? We beat the game. You saw it. We beat it. I'm not fighting this asswipe again. I just beat the game. I'm not doing it again. You saw this menu pop up. Did you not? So you can't get mad at me for that. Alright, well anyway, that's Ninja Gaiden 2. I've got really nothing much else to show. I don't know what else I want to show you guys. Yes, I have not actually done Ultimate Ninja. I haven't done... Sure, fuck it, whatever. Let's try this out. I'm curious. But yeah, Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, I will admit that I think I honestly, honest to God, probably just prefer the other versions of the game. I don't know. Which is funny because, like, at the same time, I mean, this one does about pretty much everything I probably would want it to do. Like, it's essentially Sigma. Well, it is Sigma again, but they brought back the girls. But there's at least the Ninja Gaiden 2 vanilla shops and the Ninja Gaiden 2 Blood. But I don't think they brought back the whole... I'm pretty sure they did not bring back the whole Dynasty Wars ass. Tons of fights and shit. I still recommend it. I still think it's a pretty good game. I was excited about it when it got announced. I bought it straight away. Played it, liked it. There's really nothing much else I can say besides it's just it's decent. I still think it's decent. So that's what I think, though. Other people might not agree, but that's fine. Other than that, next up would be Ninja Gaiden 3 Vanilla. That's the next one we need to beat. And I need to go back and make sure I actually did get the main menu to pop out. I'm pretty sure it showed up. But, yeah, so... Next up, like I said, Ninja Gaiden 3. I'm just going to go ahead and just pop that bad boy and just start it soon. Like, right now. So, anyway. Take care, everybody.